Okay, let's sit here. Let's take some minutes here to explain the perfection and the beauty of the living word. Okay. Now, I'll make videos and then you'll have these science people go back and say, you refer to the Bible when it seems to benefit you, but then if it doesn't benefit you, you say you can't trust it. It's like, if it adds up, accept it. If it doesn't, reject it. If science invalidates your religion, okay, you need to make sure your religion is valid, based on reality, okay? Now, there are points in the Bible, okay, that are very understandable and very valid, okay? And then there's parts where they turn it into mythological gibberish, okay? Where it's mythological gibberish, it has been mistranslated or purposely manipulated to make it into mythology, so we never live the Lord's Prayer. We never understand life is eternal and grace is infinite. We never understand molecular structures that replicate through similarities. Do you understand? The Bible's all about that. So is the Quran. Now there are manipulations where you're like, that's not true. That's why if I write down on a piece of paper, okay, that I'm gravity and other people agree to it, does that make me gravity? No, right? So you got to understand that you can't declare yourself gravity, but you can understand gravity. And so it's interesting to people stuff too. And one thing that you have to understand, people a lot here, these mental health things and all this bullshit on TV, especially these assholes in El Paso. And look, mental health requires being mentally healthy. Okay, if you're a philanthropist, you can't help anybody be mentally healthy. I mean, that's just 2 and 2 is 4. Okay? If you believe money is real, all you're going to do is give people drugs, electrotherapy, and mental placebos to survive fucking their life away because you're fucked. And you're trying to get them to accept that fuck. These kids commit suicide. Yeah, life is eternal, grace is infinite. You're murdering them by participating in their abuse and then saying they have to get with the program. You're such fucking assholes, right? You can't be afraid of dying, because we all die, like Judah Krishnamurti talked about those kids in India. But you can't be afraid to live. Okay? You can't be afraid to get up and be truthful so we can all live faithful love, and be afraid of being murdered by people that don't want to allow us to do that. That's the gospel pretty much in a nutshell. That's why I'm Earl, the son of Ralph and Mary, and Mr. Nelson at the Mormon Church is not. Russell Nelson or whatever isn't the Messiah. Okay, do you understand? Isn't Joseph, isn't like Daniel or Malachi or Melchizedek or Hud. Those of you that don't understand who Hud is an Arab man who in story and tradition is very much like Abraham and Elijah, and then the way that tribalism dictates is it's the Jews that always have somebody like that, which we know is complete bullshit. Okay? Jesus tells us that. Wherever the eternal spirit that understands me is, there we are, that have two faithful people that have faith in the glory of God. Okay? So when you speak truthfully about faithful love eternally, people that understand that is what is right and what is good. Okay? Do you understand? Like what happened a lot with indigenous people here, where you had the priests come and tell the stories and they would go as good, and then the army and the business people that would follow wouldn't do that. And a lot of the priests were wackadoodle and were telling people bad and erroneous information. Okay, like on that movie Black Robe from Canada. Okay, about magical thinking. Okay. When you tell them about good values and tell them the stories, they go, "Hooah, this is true. It's Inju. That's all you need to say. It's true." Okay, like the Apache would say. So Apaches were not hard to Christianize because their religious beliefs were very similar to David's and Solomon's. Okay, and the Cheyenne and some of the tribes of the ones we call the Sioux, okay, were not as hard to quote Christianize because they had very similar values, especially the Cheyenne. And so there was a lot of people. Nez Perce were also easy to Christianize. because they had very similar stories and very similar values. So, but the thing is, what happens is you get peewits. And then the peewits of the Harneys come along, the Chamberlains come along, the Nelson Mileses come along, right? And they fuck up and ruin everything. And then don't forget the carpetbagging, sorry-ass motherfucking, we're going to sign a piece of paper and I own everything. You know, the Edgar G. Robinsons, the Valley of Death with Glenn Ford with the, or Vengeance Valley or Violent Men, or whatever, whenever, wherever. Right? So, you know, people without a knowledge into history are like a tree without root. When you look at your history, like they have on Fox about lawmen and outlaws, and realize that the laws are living the Lord's Prayer, and that no one was able to do that historically, and every time they tried to do something like that, assholes came and murdered those people off the face of the planet, and then claimed that the people they murdered off the face of the planet were the fringe radicals. A man named Brigham Young had a lot of problems with that. Yeah, that's why he got away from the Wasatch Valley and went to St. George. We've already talked about that numerous times. Me and him have had prayer discussions about that. Okay. I like with David and stuff like that, because I was given bad information. I judged a couple of people. I did Haile Selassie, Abraham, Brigham Young. And then when I was older and was actually able to communicate with them with prayer, because that's when I need to focus on them, and I needed their understanding to correct the people that were trying to undermine me, saying he's not talking to anybody, he's not doing this, right? The science is getting better. It's like, yeah, okay. I've had talks with Brigham Young. I've had talks with Joseph Smith, you know. They don't talk to the people in charge of the church. It's a business. We're supposed to be living the Lord's Prayer. That's not a business. You guys understand me, okay? So we're doing all right, but don't be afraid to die, but also don't be afraid to live. And we don't want you committing suicide, okay? We don't want you committing suicide. If you're a murderer and you can't stop murdering and raping, odds are you probably can't commit suicide. So robotics and drones activities is going to have to probably put you down like a mad dog. But all you people out there are doing on the right to 9 to 5 to keep yourself up out of trouble, hang in there, okay? We'll survive. We'll get through this. And when we live the Lord's Prayer, the ecosystem is going to recover, and human beings aren't going to be competing, and selling products and be happy to be on a psychotic commercial to keep billionaires on the fucking TV. And that's going to be glorious, okay? I love you guys very much. Let's see if it takes 3 hours for this fucker to load. Okay, love you.